Hey y'all, this is Lauren from One Nana Two Girls, and I am bringing a great tutorial for you today. This is a flat fold stand-up, and these are great to make for projects that you want to display around your home, display on a bookcase, a skinny shelf, your coffee table, a side table. They're great for gift giving, and they're suitable for all different kinds of cross stitch. So any style, any pattern, any season, and they just make really good pieces to stand up around your home and display your beautiful heirloom cross stitch pieces. So we have a couple here today that are finished just to show you. And this is Little House Needleworks Hometown Holiday. And the entire set I had shown in a, I had said in the last video that we have the entire set stitched, and the new one, the ice cream shop, is on its way to our studio shortly. And several members of our family have stitched these: Nana, Caroline, myself, Karina, Papa, and Isabella. And Isabella has done most all of these, with a few of us thrown in here and there. But these are beautiful, stitched on 14 count Aida, and we have a variety of fabrics. I think we have 3 different fabrics that we utilize throughout the series. The fabric that we started with originally, this one, was no longer available, so we had to switch, and we are now using the this is the next fabric we were using, also 14 count Aida, and we are now using the Zweigart raw natural linen, and we'll do a whole video of the entire display once all of the buildings are finished being redone. So we're working feverishly. I explained how we just soaked the single flat and disassembled, and now we are reassembling them all into the beautiful stand-up flat fold process. So this is why they're so great. They're finished on the inside, the back, the front. They make great display. You can put them on a tiered tray as well, or even one of your little Lazy Susans on your countertop. They squeeze in anywhere. So just wanted to bring these two. We've just redone both of these, and they came out beautifully. So we're going to go ahead and add those to our collection in the beautiful case that we have them in. And today I'm going to show you how to construct one of these. So I hope that you learn a lot, and let us know if you have any questions. So to start out, you're going to need, obviously, your stitched piece. This is the toy store. You're also going to need the Canson mat board. And this is an art board. It goes by the name of Bristol board. And it's available in Hobby Lobby. So Bristol art board. There's the tag from Canson. So I always remove the tag off the back of the sheet. I don't want it in my finished piece. So this is the back of it, and the front is white. It's acid free and really heavy duty. You can see there it has a nice thickness to it, and it's going to keep your piece upright and safe and straight forever. And you'll need some quilt batting, and you can either use the Warm and Natural or the Warm and White, depending on your fabric that you are finishing. So for any fabrics that are lighter than this or white, I always use the Warm and White. And for any fabrics about this color or darker, I use the Warm and Natural. You also will need some tacky glue, Aleene's tacky glue, just the original. I have a glass jar that I keep the glue upside down in. I have a small ruler for measuring. I have just a child's paintbrush that I've used for a long time with a little bit of water, again in one of the wee yogurt containers. Those things are great for everything. Ribbon for attaching underneath that ribbon. So we'll need to coordinate with your fabric and your piece. This is from Joann Fabrics. It's the Off-Ray ribbon, and this is the 5/8 inch width. And this is color 587. So just a really pretty green color. You'll also need some fabric for covering your boards. And depending on how big your piece is, will depend on how much fabric you need. So when I go to the store and I'm looking for some fabrics to finish some projects, I usually come home with a half a yard. Honestly, this is a secret, y'all. I really come home with no less than a yard, but you don't need that much. But if I want to use it again, then I want to get a whole yard and maybe put some of it in a quilt someday or whatnot. For this whole series, obviously we have yardage because we knew that we needed to have a lot so that we could continue to do them all with the same fabric. The basic gray grunge fabrics from your local quilt store or an online quilt shop is also a great alternative. And you'll also need some scissors. So I use Fiskars scissors for this purpose. They're really good quality. I like this larger size, and then I also like the smaller size. And whatever your favorite pair of scissors are, just make sure you have some good quality scissors. It's nothing to try and go and cut your ribbon or cut some fabric and have an awful pair of scissors that aren't working and you're just trying and trying, and then you ruin your ribbon or your fabric with that. And you also need a rotary cutter, and I just use the Olfa brand rotary cutter. Let me grab that. Olfa rotary cutter. And we actually mark the date there on the back that we changed the blade so that we know, okay, we've got a blade that is maybe has a chink out of it, maybe has a little slip or a nick or whatnot in the blade, and it's just not cutting correctly. So I use this to cut the artboard, and I also use it to cut the fabrics. You also need some straight pins for measuring out your stitch piece and how far out you want to go from your design. So this one has some little snowflakes that kind of peek out around there. So you just want to look at your design and take a look at the furthest point, and then you'll measure out how far you want to go from your design. Typically, we like to do about a 1/2 inch, but honestly, it depends on the piece and what you're doing with it. So about 6 to 7 lines out on a 14 count fabric is usually our go-to. But again, it all depends on the piece and preference of how much you want. So that is about a 1/2 inch. About 7 on a 14 count fabric equals a 1/2 inch away. So we're going to go ahead and get started. That's everything that you should need to make a stand-up flat fold. So I've already covered my one piece. This is going to be the piece that the cross stitch piece is mounted to. So I've covered one piece of my Canson board with the Warm and Natural, and I used the Aleene spray tacky glue. Had to grab that there. This Aleene's tacky spray, and just shake it up, spray a little on. I use a box lid actually from Sam's Club, or any kind of cardboard box that you have. I lay the Canson board down in it, spray it real lightly with the Aleene's tacky spray, and then I apply a bigger piece of the quilt batting. I turn it over, and I use my rotary to trim exactly around the board. so that I have a nice, clean, and precise cut on my quilt batting. The last thing I want is my quilt batting to be wrapping around the edging of my Canson board. I don't want that. And I've already also counted out where my board is going to go, and then I used a ruler to measure from side to side, from pin to pin. And for instance, this one is measuring 5 5/8. So I want to cut my board 5 1/2. I want to take that 1/8 of an inch off of my measurement. To me, that's really important so that you have enough space to wrap your 14 count fabric around the edges of your board. And again, I'll show you the vertical measurement. So that would measure, so here you can see it's measuring a skosh in between 4 1/2 and 4 5/8. So you also want to take off 1/8 of an inch. So you'll take off and you'll cut your board a skinny 4 1/2. That's how I say it. Cut the board a skinny 4 1/2. So I know when I've got my Omni Grid ruler, I'm going to go a little bit scant of the 4 1/2 measurement. So I've already pre-cut the boards. It takes some arm muscle to cut the boards, but with this rotary cutter and my trusty Omni Grid rulers, I have success every time with nice clean cuts. So I went ahead and already cut my 4 boards. You need 4 to complete the project. 2 on the front and 2 for the back. So the most challenging part of this flat fold is mounting the stitched piece to the board. And I say it's the most challenging because I want mine to be straight. I want it to be perfect. I want to try and make sure that it's not going to look crooked on the front. So I want to take my time with that. So that to me is the most time consuming and challenging part of the project. So first thing you will do is lay your board down after you've already pinned. You're going to lay your board down between your pins, and because your pins are exactly where they need to be, you can center your board between your pins. And that way you'll know when you flip it back over. I've got my pins on either side, and the pins are going to be on the edge of the mat board as you're pulling the fabric over to the back. That's where your edging is going to be, where you've pinned. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. So we'll go ahead and get started. We've been working so much, I'm just plumb out of the Aleene's tacky glues that stand upright. Have y'all seen those? Those are my favorite, but I just had to grab this one quick because we have been working so much. We are just plumb out of it, and we're waiting on our shipment to get in here to the studio. So, all right, we are going to take our tacky glue and we're going to run a small squiggly bead of tacky glue along this edge here, and we're not going to go clear to the edge. We're going to stay in about 1/2 inch from either side. So go ahead and do that now. And you don't want too much. If you get too much, you just use your finger and you just wipe it off, and make sure that you have your paper towel or wet cloth. I prefer a wet cloth, but just grabbing that real quick. Make sure that you have that at the ready. So what you'll do, you still have your pin in your fabric, and you're going to fold your fabric up over the edge, and you're just going to hold that for a minute, a few seconds. You want it to kind of catch on to that fabric. You want the glue to start adhering there. And then you want to pick up your piece, and on Ada, it's easy to see where you've got the line of your woven fabric. So you can kind of visualize out and even take your finger out. Okay, I've got my pin up here on the edge. I know that that's my edging, and I'm going to look really closely at that, and I'm going to press and make sure that line is straight the whole way out the board. And you'll come back and you'll be doing this again once you pull the other side. So try, while you're doing this, be pressing with your fingers on the back. And then go ahead and take that pin out. Kind of tap where you had your pin. Okay? One side. There we go so far. All right? Now, we're going to do the same thing with the other side. And remember, this is a piece that we are remaking. So keep that in mind as you're watching me do it. If you see these frays and these cuts, it's because we've, taken it apart and it's still okay. We're saving our piece and we're making it the way we want it. And that's what it's all about. If it doesn't look right to you, if you don't like it, it's okay to make it the way you want. See, I went a little too far there. So get that glue off of there. Okay. And again, we're going to pull and we're going to use our fingers to hold that down. Take out that extra pin there. Don't need that one right now. All right. And then you take a look. Did it make it up to the top? And if you didn't, you just give it a little pull from the back. That's what's so great about the Aleene's Tacky Glue. You have time to sit here or stand or whatever you're doing. I like to stand while I do mine. You have time to work with it and get it to where you want it to be, to make it right. Got a little quilt batting on me. Did y'all watch Mike Holmes, Homes on Homes? Make it right. I love that motto. All right, now you can smooth that down right there where our pin was. Okay, so far so good. Nothing too wild and crazy or organic going on there. Go back and look at your other side now that you've pulled on the other side, and make sure you've still got your line up there. And if I have doubts, I will go back and recount my holes. So 7. I want number 7 up there on the top. There he's going to go. Good. Getting him up there. Okay. We want it to be even. You don't want it to look crooked along any of the sides. Alrighty. Now, make sure you're even top and bottom. Okay. So, now we are going to go ahead and get to the next part. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry I had to stop the video because look what was delivered. A Froco. That's what we call them. Frozen Coke from McDonald's. Look at this cute, adorable Christmas cup. I had to interrupt this programming to tell you I had to take a sip of my Froco. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. Now, back to business. The magical part. We don't want to have those lumps in the corners, right? No. So, if y'all watched my other tutorial, hopefully you did. And thank you, over 5,000 people, for watching that. I couldn't even believe it. I was amazed. I felt so honored, and I'm very grateful. So, we're going to take a corner triangle off. See? We're eliminating some of that bulk in the corner. We don't want that bulk in the corner. Y'all, it just makes it look lumpy. We don't want it looking lumpy. Okay. Now, we're doing the same over here. This is some thick Ada. Just saying. This is some thick Ada. We'd love to stitch on 14 count, by the way. Now, those young girls with those good eyes, they can stitch on linen. Not me. I haven't even ever tried. I think I've probably stitched on maybe 18. I know I've stitched a couple 16. But let me just tell y'all, stitchy people, I'm stitching on 14. If it don't come in 14, I ain't stitching on that fabric. So anyway, Zweigert and Witchell, just love them. So we've got our corners all trimmed there. If you don't like it, you go back and trim a little more. See these flingy things? I don't want those on there either. This is a piece that we're redoing. So we're going with the flow here. Bear with me. I don't want those flingy things on there. Okay? And yeah, I just throw the stuff on the floor because that's what the vacuum cleaner's for. All right, we're going to continue to glue. Now, these are those corners. So we're going to put a little bit of glue there. Except not that dried up stuff that just came out of there. What was that all about? A little bit of glue there. A little bit of glue in the corner. Again, a little bit of glue there. And a little bit in the corner. Okay? And we're going to pull some of our fabric from that corner over onto the board. And you want to end up with your fabric over here at an angle. See the angle there that we're creating? All right, doing that on the other side. And press it down. Press it down, y'all. And again, check that side, because when you pull, you don't want to pull your fibers. I'll do it on the side that's not glued yet. When you're pulling, you don't want to pull your fibers here and end up with it all crooked down there. So be careful, okay? So you just gently and you press, okay? And see, you're eliminating that bulk right there, okay? Other side, let's get to it. Have y'all stitched any of these? Do you like Little House Needleworks Hometown Holiday? They're beautiful, aren't they? Honestly, I'm a sucker for all Little House Needleworks patterns. She has some really great ones. Diane, big shout out to you. You have amazing patterns, my friend. Amazing patterns. All right. There we go. See? We've got our angles coming in. Let's get to the other side. Here we go. A little bit of glue in the corners and right in there. That's important. Right in there. That is important so it holds that over. See? Okay. Now don't forget. Lift some of your fabric up onto the back of the board. You want to pull it up on there, little bits at a time. And hold it. Hang on to it. And see there? See how it's pulling? Nope. Rock it back toward the front. Put it back where it goes. And again, see, we're taking our time, doing what needs to be done. You want that angle up there. A little bit more. Okay? All right. Take a look at your front. Okay, other side. If you feel like you didn't clip enough off, you can clip a little more. Yep. I've had times I've had to go back and clip a little more. Okay, and we're just hanging on to it there, making our corners go in. I want that one to go in a little more. Alrighty. My pin's coming out here. There we go. Don't need two over there. Okay, this is where we're at. Get your fuzzies off. Don't want any of them sneaking in back there. It's just extra bulk that you don't need. Okay? All right. Now, we're going to glue the whole way from side to side. Okay. Hopefully you can see my glue there. There we go. Glue. All right. Now, for the corner, you're gonna get a hold of this and put your finger here to kind of create your crease in there where you want your fabric to fold down. I'll show you again on the next corner. And you want to go ahead and pull the middle, because you've got your pin still there that you want on your edge. And again, get a hold of your edge over here. Did you see that pop up like that? Because I didn't hold on to it long enough. Get your finger in there and pull toward the back. Pull in the middle. Okay. And press. Really press. Press on those corners. You want to get your fabric as flat as you can on those corners, especially with this thick fabric like this. All right, now we're going to check our top and see, are we where we need to be? Okay, take our pin out, run your finger along there, make sure that you've got it all straight. Take a look at it from the front. Okay, now we're gonna pull this across to the other side. I just run my thumbs up it like this, and we're gonna get this one going. Okay, give yourself a little tug on it there. Just a little bit of glue. Don't go crazy, y'all, with the glue. Again, get your finger in there. You don't have to have a nail, but get your finger in there and really press. Pull your middle and then get another finger in there in the corner so you can get that pulled to the back. Use your fingers to kind of help you pull it to the back. Really give it some good tugs there with your fingers. Okay, check your edging. Get your pin out of there. Get the fuzz. Get that fuzz. Okay, now we're checking that out. This one was going to the back a little bit. Okay. It's looking pretty good, y'all. Take your time. Make it right. Make it right. What do you think about that? Looks pretty good. Now, I like to put this in the press. So I use a couple 6-packs, 2 6-packs of the ball glass jars, just because we have some here in the studio. I don't know why, but they're heavy enough. So we just use them. Who knows? Use what you got. If you got a big old heavy box or bin or something that you have in your studio or in your room or workspace, heck, you could use all kinds of things to sit on top to put it in the press. Oh, here's what the back looks like. Let's get that threads over here. Don't want them on there. Throw them on the floor. Did y'all ever watch Eleanor Burns, the quilter? She threw all her pieces she cut off over her shoulder onto the floor. That's where I learned that from. No, I am not too, I am just the right age to have grown up watching Eleanor Burns with my mom, with Nana, my mom. All right, we're putting this in the press under the ball jars, under whatever you got. And then we are moving on to covering these backers. Okay, the rest of the pieces. Now, move our stuff around here. Have some more Froco, y'all. Did you get your Froco? Mm-hmm. Excuse me there. Had to have a little sip. Now, if your fabric is directional, you want to make sure that you lay your boards out the way that you want them. So, to some people, this might not be directional. To other people, this has darker horizontal lines going across this way, more prominent than the lines going this way. This fabric can go either way. Personal preference. However, this lines going across this way bugged us, and we feel that that is the horizontal way of the fabric, and that's how we want to do ours. Everybody's free to use it how they want. This is a great fabric from Joann's. It's one of their blenders, but it's extremely similar to the basic gray grunge fabrics that I was talking about. Okay, so you want to have some room on either side of your boards, on all four sides of your boards. So I like to do about a 1/2 inch. And you can see this bottom piece, this is just cut from, you know, where we got it from. So allow yourself enough room to slice that off, and because you don't want all this flingy stuff on your board. And then you want to leave about a 1/2 inch over here. Just use your rotary. And you want to leave about a 1/2 inch up here. Again, just use your rotary. Hang on to your ruler while you're doing it. Those of you that are good, you can probably do it without a rotary. You can cut it with scissors too, but being quilters, we like to use the rotary. It's quick. Now, see all this flingy stuff? Oh, look, there's a cut in the fabric right there. I can't use that piece because it's going to show. Forget that one. Make sure there's no cuts in your fabric before you start. Okay? We're going again. Okay, here we go. Okay, cutting our 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Okay, there we go. One more side. Some people might ask, why does it matter if it's, you know, pretty straight? You're just turning it over to the back. Well, it matters because you don't want all that bulk back there. You don't need it. It's useless back there, and it just creates bulk in between your layers. So that's why. And again, here we go. We're gluing. Folding our fabric over. Pulling it tight. Turn. Glue on the other side. Need a little more there. And And pull your fabric up over. Okay. If you have a stitched piece and you were wondering, wonder what I should do with it, make one of these. You should make one of these. Go ahead and try it. It's very easy. Nothing organic, nothing too difficult here. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help you out. All right, 2 sides are done. Don't forget to snip your corners. I can't do that up in the air, y'all. Okay, here we go. Cut that off. Get that bulk out of there. Has everyone had the weird weather? It's like 60 one day, and it's like raining the next day, dropping temps, crazy stuff. So see, that's why it's good to make these things, because you can stay inside and stay warm. Now, we're going to do our corners again the same way. Little bits of glue there in the corners. See that? I'm putting glue on the board and a little bit in the corner. And I'm taking that excess fabric and I'm moving it up onto the board, making sure that I'm not lumping it up into a big lump. I'm making that nice and flat. Again on the other side. Okay. Make sure it's tight on there. Hold it down. And we want that same angle for the fabric that we did for the Ada. Okay, here we go. We're getting more of this up on the back. And you're going to do this with each board. And then I am going to show you the special board, how we cut the fabric for the backer, the back piece. This very back piece. That's a little different. So this fabric is going on 2 of these pieces. 2 of these pieces. The cross stitch piece is on one board. 2 pieces get just the fabric with the 1/2 inch around it. And then the backer piece I'll be showing you next. But let's continue. Get this glued. Okay, little much right there. Just use your finger. Again, keep your fingers clean. Wipe them off as you go along if you need to. All right, and again, give yourself a little tug here as you're pulling it over to the back. Press and hold. Use your fingers to pull that fabric over to the back. And again, here on this corner, use your finger or your nail to pull that fabric taut there to the back. All right, doing the other side. Again, make sure you have your angles for your corners. And we're doing that for less bulk, everybody. And again, fingernail here. Is everyone working on Christmas projects? Or have you moved on to winter or spring projects? All right, so you've got it all glued and you just want to run your thumb along the board and make sure that there's not too much give in the fabric. And if there is, go ahead and take a hold of the fabric on the back like this and give it a little tug. You don't want it all loosey-goosey on the board. All right, so 2 boards just like this. I'm gonna cover this one like that as well. Now I'm gonna show you the backer piece, and I'm kind of auditioning my board here over in this side. You want to have enough fabric You want to have about 1.25 inches fabric on one long side, which will be the top side. So on your, whichever way your, I shouldn't say long side, whichever way your stand-up is going, because you can do horizontal stand-up or you can make them vertical. So whichever is going to be the top, you need to have about 1.25 inches extra fabric up here, not the 1/2 inch fabric that you're having around the other 3 sides. This is very important for this back piece, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and cut that here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use my ruler to cut about straight across from here. Little threads there, okay? Now you have this piece for the back, and we'll straighten that up here in a minute. Want to make sure that your Canson board, make sure the white side is facing the back of the fabric. You don't, if you have light fabric, you don't want to accidentally have the Canson part facing the back of it, because you could possibly see it if you have a light enough fabric. So you always want to make sure that you have the Canson facing you as you're gluing it down. Okay. All right, here we go. We're gluing the bottom. Again, about 1/2 inch away from the edging. Okay. And you're just using your fingers to work the fabric up onto the back of the board. Give it a little tug if you need to. Okay, get that up there. So you want to pull across the top and make sure that you've got it tight enough down here on the bottom. Okay, and I'm pressing the board with this hand as I was pulling that up, so it kept it still. All right, and again, we're clipping our corners. I'm going to clip a little bit more up on there, okay? Clipping our corners, eliminating that bulk. And so we're doing just the bottom. This is our backer piece. We're doing just the bottom there and the 2 sides for right now. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with the corner process here at the bottom, and move your fabric up onto the board, making sure you don't have big lumpies there, and get your angle there. I want a little bit more of an angle, so I'm gonna pull it further up onto the board. Same with this side. I'm pulling my fabric up onto the board, creating that angle at the corner. Turn it around here, maybe you can see that real good there, creating that. And I'm going to give my board, I'm hanging on to this part of the fabric, and I'm going to give my board a little push and hang on to it. And then I'm running a little bit of glue up the edge of the board, and again I'm using my nail to fold over my fabric, and I'm pressing it with my fingers, and I'm pulling this fabric the whole way up around to the back of the board, just like this. Okay, other side, I'm doing the same thing. Little bit of glue, giving a little tug here so I get that precise corner. Gotta wipe some glue off there, excuse me a second. And I'm pulling this fabric on the back with my fingers, and I'm attempting to make it really tight and without lumps. Okay, now Now, you'll see, I don't know if you can see, but this is a little bit loose here. Why? Because this isn't attached yet. So if you're thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't get it tight enough. You did. As long as you're tight enough from side to side back here. That's what matters at this point in time. This will be pulled up later in the process. Okay? So we've got that board. Same thing here. At this point in time, we're going to cut starting from way up here, a small angle off this side and a small angle off of this side. Okay? Just trying to eliminate some of that bulk for later on. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and do this other piece off camera, and then we'll start back up. Okay, so we are back. Everything was in the press, and we're going to continue. You need to grab your ribbon, and we're going to cut the piece that is going to connect the front and the back. Right there. I like to use and cut about 6 inches of ribbon, just as a general rule of thumb. So it depends on how wide you want your opening. I usually like the opening around 2 inches to 2 1/4 inches. So it depends on how big. So this one's about 2 1/4. So just to show you how wide that one is. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 6 inches of ribbon. And we're going to lay, I like to have this I like to have this Olfa rotary mat. So that I can, and I like these lines here, so I can see where exactly it's going to be. So let me get it placed here in the camera and even it out here between my 2 sides, a little bit to the left. Okay, so we're going to glue right here in the middle, up probably about 1.5 inches roughly there. And I've got my middle here with this dark line. And I want to put about, let's measure that. Yeah, that's about 1 3/4 inches. So about 1 3/4 inches or so of the ribbon up into the inside of the project. So you want to just lift your ribbon and check and make sure you don't have any glue splooging out underneath. And you can lay your ruler on top. Make sure your ribbon's even from side to side. And I'm going to fix mine over this way a little bit so that I have it even from side to side. And just press down there again. Okay? Simple enough, right? Take your next piece of Canson board, and this time we're going to take glue all the way around the edging first. Take your glue, don't go overboard there, and you want enough around the edging at this point because we're going to use our brush. And just sit this piece aside because that has to set up a little bit. Dry your brush out real good if you had it in water to rinse it. So just use a paper towel, dry your brush, and you're going to just take any old paintbrush. Like I said, these are just from when the kids were younger. These are just a Crayola brush that we probably picked up at Michael's or someplace, or it came in a Crayola kit. And I'm brushing the glue out. Again, another great way to eliminate bulk. I know that some people use hot glue. I've never used hot glue. I trust Aleene's. I trust the quality of it. I trust the consistency of it. I trust the thinness of it. I don't want to add any more bulk by adding hot glue or any other kind of thicker glue in my finished pieces. So as you can see, after I brushed out, I have some spots where I feel I need a little bit more. So I'm going back with my Aleene's Tacky glue and I'm brushing that out again. And be sure to get there in the corner with the tip of your brush, okay? And just keep brushing. You want that covered. You want to get it out to the edging. You want those edges to have enough adhesive to stay together. That eliminates some, you know, slipping apart, etc. Okay, so get all that. And if you need a little extra in the corner, Nana likes to put a little extra here. She says, don't forget your corners. She reminds me. Thank you, Mom, for reminding me. Never too old for your mother. Just saying. That's my motto. Just not. You always need your mom or your mother figure. You're never too old for them. All right, now we have that all around the edge. And we're taking our tip of our glue bottle and dotting glue all over the back of it. Okay? You don't want to use too much. Don't go globbing it all on here. Okay? Put your paintbrush in the water. You want to have just the right amount there. And there it is again. Okay? You have your back piece. You know it's your back piece because this is still undone. You have your next piece and you're layering it right on top of the back. And you're eyeballing that and then stand it down on your table and tap it down. And then I use my thumbs to press down so that I get a nice clean bottom edge. You can pull your fabric back up, take a look here. And then you want to look side to side as well. So you want to visualize that, and I actually turn it on its side and I go like that. All right, now see that little bit of glue right there? You can take your fingernail or one of the skewer sticks and just give it a little squeeze to get any excess out right there. Okay, and right here. Thank you, my mom. See, you're never too old for your mama. She heard me and brought me a skewer. Thanks, Mama. All right, so just give it a little gentle squeeze. You don't want any of that glue junking up in the corners and all that jazz, okay? Give it a gentle squeeze. You want those corners sticking together, but we're gonna put clips on it here after we get the next part on. But for right now, get your skewer. You don't want any of that showing, okay? If you don't have a skewer, you can use a toothpick. Sometimes, you know, you can pick up a toothpick at, we get ours at Cracker Barrel, just in a little thing. They're like $1.47 or something. Well, they're probably more expensive now. Everything's more expensive now. But anywho, you can pick up toothpicks anywhere. But yeah, these wooden skewers, you can get these at the Dollar Tree, and you can get a ginormous bag at Walmart. And the tip is really pointy, so it works really great for this purpose. All right, enough talking. Now, after you've cleaned all that up, you want to go ahead and press down. And just hang on to it for a minute. And then we're going to get the next piece, which is still in the press. So I've got to grab the next piece, and we're going to go ahead and layer that back on. Okay, I've got that out of the press, and we're going to continue here. So clip off any threads here, okay, that you have there. All right, get your threads clipped off. Now, you have your third board, Okay, this is the regular board. You have your third board, line it up here, and you're going to put some glue here at the bottom for your ribbon, and we're going to attach our ribbon. Make sure you put your glue far enough up in, and you want to make sure that there's some close to the edge down here. So make sure you put it up far enough. You want that ribbon to go up far enough. Don't skimp on your ribbon here. You don't want to just attach like this little tiny bit of ribbon inside your stand up. You want to make sure that you have enough up in there that it's going to hold in case little fingers get a hold of it, or if for any reason somebody might tug on it and whatnot. Not that they should be, but you never know. Okay, so get that glue up in there. And I always place one of my rulers here, my trusty 6-inch. Make sure that your boards are all lined up. I place my ruler here next to this ribbon, and I pull the tail of my ribbon up and eyeball here on my ruler about 1 1/8 inches, which is to right here. Okay, so you want about 1 1/8 inches. I'm going to go up just a hair. And you've already got the bottom glued in and it's already lined up. So when you're bringing this over, you just line up your edges with the bottom piece of the ribbon, and voila, you're already centered. Okay, now we're going to glue this flap. So we're just going to put a small amount here. You don't need a lot right here. See, it's just barely there, the glue. Okay, and take your paintbrush again, dry it off real good. You don't want it to be wet at all. You don't want to have any excess water in your brush. You don't want that water on these boards. Okay, all right, so hanging on to it in your hand, you're gonna give that a little brush and brush it up toward the end here to the edge. Okay, now this is another really good tip and secret. Okay, well, it's not a secret because I'm telling y'all. I'm taking a little bit more glue close to the edge along here, just a little bit. Why? Because I'm going to take my paintbrush and go along there, and I'm going to brush the glue along the top of these pieces along here, because you want this piece of fabric to have something to adhere to along here. So if you don't have enough, I don't have enough, you can come back and just dab ever little tiny bits. Okay, little tiny bits. Brush it out. All right, you want not too much up here, because when you pull this over, you don't want globs of glue up in here because they'll seep through your fabric. Ask me how I know, because I did that before. And before you finally pull it over, you want that little dab of glue in the corner like we were doing before. Okay, so put a little bit in there. You want that. You've got your angles cut already, and you're going to slightly pull in up here on these two sides, on both sides, I mean. And you just want a very slight angle up there, not too much. And then I always pick it up in my hand when I do this next part. I want it to be flat there. So I'm taking this piece and I'm pulling it right over at the edge of my piece, okay? Right there at the edge. I don't want my fabric sticking out over the edge of my boards. So you want to take a good look at it and make sure you're right there. And you see I'm holding on to it with my thumb, so I make sure that it's nice and tight. Then you want to go ahead and give all the way across the middle a good tug, because we have that excess fabric back. Okay, so you want to pull this fabric along here until you get to the other side. And again, make sure your boards are straight with each other, and you're taking this side and you're also giving it a good tug so that you're pulling it right there along the edge of your boards to the middle. And you want to angle that in from the edge. You don't want this piece of fabric to be up against this edge. You want it in some. That's why we angled it before we pulled it over. Okay? And I just go along and I pull my fabric tight. Run your finger along here. Remember, we put some glue there. So run your finger along there, and you want to check your back. And I do that by running my thumbs up the board or my fingers up the board to make sure that I don't have any excess fabric back here. I feel like there's a little there and a little over here. And when you pull it to make sure that it's nice and tight, you can brush off all those things. Just make sure that's nice and tight. Okay? So now this is what you have. This is what stage you're at. You've got your ribbon here to hold it there on the bottom, and then you've got this piece of fabric that you've brought up over from the back, and that's what's holding all that together. Now, if your fabric's here, you remember we left it about 1.25 inches. I just go ahead and trim some of that off. I leave it 1.25 inches so that I have enough grip to pull it tight from the back. And you don't want to leave this loose here. You want to run just a little scant bit of glue under there and press that down. Okay, you don't want that loose under there. All right, now we're ready for our top piece. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and glue all along here. Again, with the same fashion. Get yourself some glue. The Ada is going to soak up some of the glue, so you want to get yourself some glue there. You know, don't go crazy with it, but there we go. Get your brush again. Dry it out really good. Okay. And proceed. You want to get this brushed out to the edge. You want to get in that little corner there. Keep brushing. Okay. I hope that you will all find this to be an easy process. And I look forward to you sharing some thoughts and comments about how yours went. And if you've made them before, or if you just are starting to make them. So as I'm brushing it out, being careful not to get any along that edge, and just wipe your finger if you feel like you did. On the light fabric, you can't see if you did, so you have to use your finger to wipe there. And then I'll take my brush and wiggle the bristles underneath any loose pieces here on the back side. Keep brushing, and you want to get into that corner. I'll probably come back and clip those little threads off there. Okay? Again, get your corner. Like Nana said, Mama said. Make sure your corners are good. Just dab a little glue in the corners. And all around the edge. Looks pretty darn good, y'all. So you want to go ahead and tap some glue, not too much. Not too much in there. And we are ready. Make sure that you have it right side up. Make sure that you have it all right side up with your bottom. We're ready to go ahead and glue that on. Let me get some of the glue off my fingers. All right, so I'm eyeballing, and then I'm going to press. I want that top to be nice and even. Again, if you see any glue starting to come to the surface there on the corners, use your skewer, toothpick, and press, 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 press really hard as you can. We want to get that glue in the middle where we put all of those dots. We want to get that adhering to the back part of your stand-up. So press, press, press. I press with my whole hands like this and push as hard as I can, as hard as I'm physically able to. Same with you, just as hard as you can, okay? And now what we're going to do is use the quilt clips, and let me go grab those real quick. Okay, we're going to use these quilt clips, and these are from Clover, and we are going to, you know, squeeze them to their fullest extent and clip all along the edging. So when I'm clipping, I'm taking the front of my clip and the front of my piece, and I'm starting that way, and I'm taking it to the back. I want the flat part of the clip, which is the clear part, I want that to be on the back side of my piece. So I like to go around to the corners and get those first. Let's get this squeezed in real good here. See that glue right there? So just get your glue under control, and there, we need it a little bit. So we're going to put it in there, and we're going to press. Okay? Make sure that there's no other glue coming out there. Use your skewer, use your fingernail, whatever works best for you. Okay? Get that glue down in there on the corner. Okay? Grab your next clip. It's tight, y'all, with these 4 layers. However, if you don't have these clips, you can use clothespins. The old-fashioned wood clothespins. You can buy them at Target. That's where we get ours from. They're really good quality. See, there just went one. There we go. Put another one on there. All right, we're gonna squeeze the corner up here. We want that to be nice and tight. Okay, we're gonna squeeze that and put a clip on it. Okay, paying close attention to your corners. Get yourself a bunch of clips out. Okay, we want to get these corners nice and tight. I squeeze mine. I squeeze the crap out of mine. Just squeeze them good. Give them a good squeeze. There went another clip. That one's about to do the same thing, y'all. I can just tell it was being ornery. All right, here we go. Get these ones along the edge. Come back and fill that in later. I want to get this other corner going down here. I don't want to wait on my corners. I don't want to take any chances. Okay? Get that in there. Okay? Get your glue. You can run your nail there, like I said. Okay? We want that to be nice and tight. Get that clipped. All right, get a couple more on there. Okay, these, I use a lot of clips. I just like mine to be glued really well, and the clips are very, very helpful. I also use these clips on my quilt bindings. I can't wait to do a tutorial for you on quilt bindings. That'll be coming after the new year, I'm sure. Okay, just go ahead and fill her up with some clips. And again, those flat parts on the back. Okay, put one more right up in here. And I can squeeze another one right in here. And I can squeeze another one right over here. Okay, now this is gonna go in my press. What's my press? Ball glass jars. 2 packs of 6, the tall kind, not the little kind, not the jelly jars, but 2 packs of the, you know, normal, regular sized ball jars. So I'm going to put that in the press. Now, with these clips here, I use a piece of, a small piece of the extra leftover mat board. So I'm going to put a piece of that here, and then I'm going to also put a piece of it on the top, so that when I put my ball jars down, I'm protecting my fabric here, and then I'm filling up the space that the clip is taking up from here. So if I didn't put anything to support the middle, when I'm pressing down on it, there's nothing here in the middle to support that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the press, and I like to leave mine in the press for quite some time, no less than an hour. I want that glue to be really dry and really sturdy before I go and take these clips off. I want it to be nice and tight. So I'm going to put this in the press, and then after it'll come out, then you have your finished, all prepared, ready to display flat fold finish for any of your needlework projects. So thank you so much for joining us and learning, watching, sticking with us through this video, this tutorial. We'll have more tutorials. If you have any tutorials that you'd like to see, please leave us a comment below. We look forward to helping teach each one of you how to finish your own projects. And they're a lot of fun. Heirloom pieces mean a lot to our family. I'm sure they mean a lot to you and your family. And this is just a really great, inexpensive way to display your cross-stitch pieces. So join us again for our next tutorial. And thank you all for your support, your kind comments, your wonderful following. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Everyone, have a great week, and we'll come back with another video to show you some of our whips and projects that we're currently working on. Can't wait till then. Bye.